Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Noel, here giving a quick reaction to the big news that broke earlier on today that Agit Kabayel, the world champion in weighting, it seems, has an opponent set in stone now for January 10th, his homecoming bout in Oberhausen, Germany, as he'll face the big, giant, unbeaten Polish heavyweight Damian Knyba. Yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, Damian Knyba, January 10th, the homecoming finally confirmed, the opponent's finally confirmed. So I'll be giving my thoughts on that, what I think of the fight. And yeah, just before we get into things, please don't forget to give the video a like first of all. If you're not doing so already, please drop us a subscribe. Only takes 1 second. We'd really appreciate it if you're not doing so already. Subscribe to the channel and follow us on all social media. So yeah, Agit Kabayel, Damian Knyba, January 10th, Oberhausen, Germany, and it was a bit out of left field. This one, there's talk of course Kabayel riding the crest of a wave after his wins over Zhilei Zhang, Frank Sanchez, Arslanbek Makhmudov. He's right on the verge of a world title, and when it was announced that he was headlining in Germany, talk began of speculation began of who the opponent would be. And then it kind of cooled off, then there was the date announced, no opponent, and now it's Damian Knyba. That's the name we have, of course. Damian Knyba coming off a fight only a couple of weeks ago now, against Joey Daweko, the very tough and durable Joey Daweko, who he stopped for the biggest win of his career, got the stoppage win in New York. Decent little statement stopping Joey Daweko the way he did. And he's a good fighter, Damian Knyba. He really is. He hasn't kind of fought the names to kind of prove he's anything more than that he should be able to beat Agit Kabayel, spoiler alert. But he is a good fighter. If you watch him, as I mentioned, he's big. He's a big unit of a man. He's 6'8". He's rangy. He's very technically solid, very well skilled boxer, and sharp jab, good, well skilled, good fundamentals, solid footwork, and good combination puncher. I think he puts his shots together well, especially you know working off the jab and going down to the body, to break opponents down. Relatively quick for a 6'8" heavyweight, and yeah, he's going to be a tough night's work for a lot of fighters out there. He really is, with those skills. As I say, he's relatively quick as well to go with his size. So, he can't be overlooked in this one against Agit Kabayel. I know people will be disappointed with Damian Knyba as a choice of opponent, especially with the run Kabayel has been on and what people expect of him. It is a step down, you could say, from the likes of Zhilei Zhang, Frank Sanchez, Arslanbek Makhmudov. But it's still a tricky opponent who demands respect from Kabayel. It's just a pity how much it killed off after those kind of that white hot wave of momentum he was on. But it'll be a decent opponent for a comeback fight. Of course, his home country, headlining in his home country in Germany. I just think in terms of the competitiveness of the fight itself, I think Kabayel should have way too much for Damian Knyba. I really do. I'm a big fan of Agit Kabayel, as are a lot of people. I think he's such a well-rounded fighter, quick, really clever footwork, great body puncher, can get in and out of range well, good lateral movement, and as I say, he's confident. He's riding the wave of momentum, and you can't, apart from size, you can't pick one thing that Damian Knyba does better than Agit Kabayel. So I'm going for an Agit Kabayel late stoppage. I'm going for a round 10 Agit Kabayel stoppage here. I think Knyba will have success early. As I say, I think Knyba will cause a lot of heavyweights problems just purely because of that size, and how technically proficient he is. People, whether you're Agit Kabayel or anyone else, you're going to have to take a couple of rounds to kind of figure that out and get around that size. But, we've seen him against big men before, and the body work is going to be key here. I mentioned he's such a crisp, sickening body puncher, so fast. It's what broke Zhilei Zhang down, and it's what's going to break Damian Knyba down here, I think, as well. I think the body work is going to be key, and he's going to chop the tree down and get him out there in 10 rounds. But yeah, it'll be a stoppage win that deserves respect, although people would be underwhelmed today by seeing Damian Knyba as an opponent. I wouldn't go, it's underwhelming due to the standards Kabayel has set for himself, but it's a win that would deserve respect when he gets it, and I think he will. But yeah, beat Damian Knyba, and it has to be a world title fight next. There's no other option. You've got the likes of Fabio Wardley, who is properly next in line, but Agit Kabayel has to be right after that. And whether he beats Alexander Usyk, who knows? That's a question for another day. Probably not. But Agit Kabayel against Alexander Usyk. Kabayel causes Usyk the most problems of anybody left in the heavyweight division. That's how good Agit Kabayel is. But beating him would be a big step. But he has to get past Damian Knight first on January 10th in Oberhausen, Germany. Yeah, the opponent now confirmed for Agit Kabayel's return. It is the 6'8" Knyba, unbeaten, 17 wins, 11 KOs. Been very active himself, been on a knockout streak himself lately, and we'll be looking to upset the homecoming of Agit Kabayel on January 10th. So yeah, that was just my quick reaction to that news. So let us know what you think in the comments. What do you make of this fight? How excited are you at the prospect of Damian Knyba as an opponent for Agit Kabayel? And can he cause the upset? Let us know. Get involved down below in the comments. And as always, don't forget, please drop a like on the video, as I say, if you enjoy the content. Subscribe if you're not doing so already to the YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing. And follow us on all social media platforms, the likes of, X, Instagram, all that good stuff, TikTok. Plenty of fantastic content on a regular basis, reviews, previews, breakdowns, interviews, all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate it. And until next time, take care.